Hello everyone, and welcome back to another GIS lecture video. And in this GIS lecture video, I want to wrap up our discussion on the different approaches to data classification by actually looking at the differences between the classification methods on our little sample data set. So I'm going to clean up some of the stuff we've done previously. And what I want to focus on are the class ranges. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to label the classes based on the ranges so that we can see how the different classes change. So for equal interval, we go from 11 to 28. So we're just going to make everything with a value of less than 28 and greater than 11, class 1. Right, class 2, 22.9 to 40.7. So we're going to do the exact same thing. Anything with a value of less than 40.8 is going to be class 2. Class 3 went from 40 to 58. So again, just to sort of be clear here, all I'm doing is I'm taking these numbers and applying the classes accordingly. So anything with a value of less than 58.6 is going to be class 3. So that's less than 58.6. That is more than 58.6. So this is going to be class 4, which goes to 76.4. And then finally, 76.5 to 100 is going to be class 5. Standard deviation, we're going to apply the exact same thing. So we're going to go from a minimum to 11.4 for 1, 14.5 to 39.3 for 2, 39.5 to 64.1 for 3, 64.2 to 89 for 4, and then 89 to 100 for 5. And then finally, our last class, natural breaks. This was where we defined it based on gaps in the data. Same concept. We're going to go to 28. Then we're going to go to 44. Then we're going to go to 83. Then we're going to go to 96. And 90 and 100. Okay. So again, I've just taken these class intervals and I've applied them to the data. What I want to do now is I actually want to color these things using a color ramp so we can visually see how they're different in terms of the way the classes worked. So I'm going to fill these in and we're going to use a blue color ramp. So I'm going to use light blue for class 1. Just so that we can see visually what happens to these classes as they as we change the classification approach. And so again, right, I'm just highlighting and changing colors. And I'm just using a light blue color ramp. All right, so as you can see, right, equal interval, you can see that even though the ranges are the same, right, the number of features varies widely. There's a lot in class 4. There's not as many in class 2. Right, quantile, the whole idea was to keep the classes the same number of features. And so you can see visually that the sort of length of the different colors is more or less the same. Oops, I actually made a mistake there. That should be that color. There we go. Right, for standard deviation, it's based on the standard deviation. So you can see that the classes in this particular case are pretty similar in size except for the ends. And this is because the data was generated from a random distribution, which actually follows a normal distribution, which is what a standard deviation is based on. So in this particular case, we actually would have expected to see something like this because the data is pulled from a normal distribution, but it's not always going to be that way. And then natural breaks, you can see, created some very strange a very strange distribution where the last two classes only have one feature. And that's because, again, we were looking for large gaps. So it's not necessarily based on the range or anything like that. It's based on gaps in the data set. So hopefully this is just a good review that solidifies the fact that the classes give you different values and you can visually see how that works relative to the different classification schemes. So as always, if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.